Well, good morning, everybody. Still safe and sound from all the storms. And I did find my connection with someone that used to mow for me when I first moved here. And she's going to come today and get my yard cleaned up. Everybody else around me has mowed, but I just can't do it. So, sorry for the noise. That's the garbage trucks. We were informed that there was no pickup today because of the mass destruction in our area. But apparently they decided against it because there's been a lot of mice and rats going after all the food garbage. I mean, just about everybody lost their food. So, yeah, so it's out there and that's what they're dining on now. So maybe they decided the places that were cleaned up and all that they could do the trash pickup then, which is great. That's great news. I feel bad for everybody else, though. It's been devastating for everybody. It's one of the worst storms I've ever been in. And I've been in tornadoes, but this is the worst one. I believe just our area alone, not anywhere south of us or anything else, just our area alone, I think there were 5 tornadoes. And the storm that we had, I believe they pronounce it Dericho, but I might be wrong. I thought it was called Dericho. So I guess maybe that would depend on, how you read it. What is it? Phonetically. So anyway, yeah. But it was, I think it was 100-mile path of destruction. 100 miles. And it just devastated the whole Northwest Indiana. And then as it moved south, then we had some flooding up here, but nothing like what's south of here, an hour and a half from here. It is just unbelievable. The whole state is in a state of emergency. Thankful and grateful that we are getting help from the federal government too, and all the other organizations that are out there doing their work, and the linemen and the first responders and all these people out there doing things for the neighborhoods. I am so grateful and thankful for all of them. They are working their butts off, just trying to get people safe, trying to get the power back on, and some of it is pretty bad. Um, our National Guard is coming to help out too, which is great. But unfortunately, there's so many downed power lines that haven't even been looked at yet by the utility company. And so you can't touch anything until they do. And that's understandable. But there's so many people out there that their mastheads for their electric have been destroyed. And so they're going to have that replaced. And I have no idea how much that's going to cost. And that could be very, very expensive. And there's a lot of people out there that can't afford it. They couldn't afford to have it done. I just, my heart goes out to those people. I don't know what people are going to do. I really don't. Um, I just hope that neighborhoods continue to get together and help each other. And yeah, I've asked my friends, and is there anything you need? Is there anything I can do for you? And nobody seems to need anything, but um, if I find out somebody does need something, then I'm willing to help, even if it's a small thing. I'll do it. Uh, I just wish we could all just blink our eyes and it's all over with. But unfortunately, this is going to haunt us for a while. Not me specifically. I very fortunate that I didn't have any ever problems of any kind other than just losing my fridge food. So I'm grateful, really grateful. Um, a lot of people talked about, oh, you live in a manufactured home and you're in dire straits here. You could lose your life because your house is just going to fall apart. Well, gratefully, my house didn't fall apart. It did weather those 100-mile-an-hour winds. And I'm so happy that it did because I don't know what I would have done. But then I look at some of these other houses that didn't make it, and they're not manufactured homes. So I don't really think that that's 100%, um, because any house can be demolished by a storm. It's just a scary thing. We cannot compete with the strength and power of storms, tornadoes, hurricanes. We really can't. I wish I could put a storm shelter on my property. I'm not sure I'd be allowed, but I would if I could. I'd give up a lot just to have it, just for peace of mind. So there's two things I would like to be able to afford this coming year, up to, this coming year. We'll see if it works out. I want to have a whole house generator, natural gas. It's the best. Propane would be good too, but I just can't handle keeping track of it because, it's hard for me to keep track of things as it is, and that would be one more thing I wouldn't be able to do myself. And the other thing would be a storm shelter for Bella and I. And if I can't make it too big because I can't afford, the larger uh thing, but you know, if we could all have one, then maybe we could help a neighbor, if we were all allowed to put one in, then maybe we could help a neighbor, and then it would be worthwhile to do because it's not something you're going to have to be in for a long period of time unless, you're covered with stuff. But I don't know, to me it just seems like the safest idea. I'm very claustrophobic, so it's kind of a scary thought too, but if I only have to be in it for an hour, that would be awesome. So these are things I really am considering. I'd give up a lot just to have those. And because then even with the whole house generator, I could still help my neighbors, with power and keep them safe too. And storm shelter, wouldn't that be amazing to be able to do that? Yeah. But I've seen one inside one of the channels that I watch. They bought a house that had one, and I'm like, yay, I could live in that for a week. It'd be scary, it'd be hard, but I could do it for a week. I wouldn't have a choice. But yeah. So those are things that are important to me. And the reason why is this. For many years, we never had anything, no backup generators of any kind. We lived out in the country. We depended on our well for water and, you know, so we didn't even have water. You know what I mean? We could drain the water tank, the hot water tank, and use that water. But that was it. Once that was gone, we were out of luck. Well, I can't handle the smell of gas. Gas makes me sick just smelling it. I get an instant migraine. I can't handle the smell. It's just horrible. Absolutely horrible. I don't know what's in it that makes me sick, but it makes me sick. And so I avoid filling my tank up until it's absolutely necessary, which I know isn't a good thing, but that's the only way I can do it. I don't have someone to do it for me. Well, that means, my son-in-law could have given me a generator. He had 3 or 4 of them that, he could have loaned me one, or he could have given me one, or I could have bought one from him, whatever, wouldn't have mattered. I would have done it, and I had thought about it. But then I realized I can't pull the cord. I can't fill it up with gas. I can't maintain it. He doesn't live next door. He lives, 20 minutes away. So, in a devastating storm situation, there's no way he can come and help me. There's no way I can go there. Besides that, I have Bella. They have dogs. Won't work. So, that was off the table, in my opinion. There was just no way to make it work. So I opted to buy a solar generator, one that it's heavy, but it was doable for me to take care of and lift. And, it was hard. It wasn't easy for me to use, but I bought it thinking, and it was half price. So I went out on a limb and I bought it, and I bought a little one just for my cell phone. What a disappointment. Not impressed at all. The maximum amount of time that you have on the bigger one, and I bought one, this one I bought because it was okay to use it for a fridge or a freezer. But it only lasts 22 hours without being charged. And I looked up, after this all happened, I looked up some more. I'll explain that in a minute. Sorry, I had a phone call I had to pick up. But anyway, I bought the solar generator. I bought one that was good for freezer, fridge, small appliances. But I also had to be careful what I bought because of the weight. There's only so much I can lift and carry. And there's only so much room that I have to store things. So they had a big sale, and I went ahead and bought one. And I had researched, I had looked at all kinds, and they all were pretty much the same. Some were more expensive, but they pretty much all, were the same for the same size and application. Okay. And then I bought a smaller one, which I thought would be great just to keep my cell phone working. And not impressed. To me, it was money wasted. I got a 4-panel solar thing, the solar panel, so that you plug it into your machine. Okay. Well, when you get it, once you get it, you can't return it. That's number one. Unless it's defective, then you can send it back. But it's not free. So then, and the weight of it's expensive to mail for sure. Even the small one, it weighs a lot. It's at least 15 pounds. I haven't weighed it yet, but it's at least 15 pounds. The other one is way more. Over 50, I'm sure. And the solar panel is 40 plus pounds. It's hard to maneuver, and it's wide, folds, and then it opens up, but you can't keep it leaning back to get full value of the sun because it wants to fold up. And since we had so much water sitting around, I didn't have anywhere to put it. So I had to put it on my front porch and run the wire into the house because you can't. And so I only had like this much room, to get behind the door. And and then I had to connect it to the railing, it was on the deck floor. but I still had to connect it to the railing because it kept wanting to flop over. It took me probably 45 minutes just to get the solar panel in a good spot where it would get the sun, it wouldn't fall over, and where I could actually put the cord under the gasket, and the front door had to be opened so that I could get it in there. And then I, dragging that big heavy hunker over there was, it just isn't easy. It's not that big, but it weighs a ton. So then as I'm reading all the instructions, I noticed in fine print it said not to allow the cord to get wet. It can't be outside, can't get wet. Well, we had water everywhere and it was pouring down rain. It was the Dericho, whatever you want to call it. We had nowhere that wasn't wet. We had 100-mile-an-hour winds. So I couldn't use the solar panel until after it was over with, and then wanted to recharge these units. It states right on there, you have it's rated for 22 hours of service once it's fully charged. Well, you fully charge it and then it drains just sitting there. Just like your cell phone. To me, it's garbage. If you're not using it, it shouldn't drain. The reason it drains is because something is being used even though you're not using it. You can have it shut off and it still drains. So this is something that is a sore spot with me. But whatever. So it says it has 22 hours to get you through a storm, okay? If your power's out overnight, it's going to help you out. My power was out for over 3 days. So the third day, now, and also I had the small one that I had gotten just for my cell phone. I was able to charge my phone 3 times. That was pretty expensive for 3 times. And again, can't charge it because everything's wet and it's raining in it and the plug's going to get wet. So what are you supposed to do? And it's too big and heavy for me to haul around and, So when I finally, I kept my freezer shut until the day I had to empty my fridge, when it was completely, it held, temperature-wise, it held for one whole day. And so I thought, well, if there's anything in here that I can save that still, feels like it has ice crystals, then I'll put it in the big freezer. Well, the stuff that was still okay wasn't much, but that's what I did. I put it in the big freezer, and then I used the generator to make sure that it stayed ice cold, because I had opened the door and I had checked everything. So, I mean, that was a few minutes of hot air from the house going in. So that was when I decided it was time to put it on the generator. It lasted 6 hours when it had 98% charge. 6 hours. That's it. 6 whole hours. And this is a newer freezer. It isn't that old, so it's not like it was draining it because it was an old piece of equipment. It's a newer one. So, what good was it? Really? The meat and everything in the freezer was frozen solid. It would have lasted at least one more day without anything. So I wasn't very impressed. So then when it finally the rain stopped and we didn't have any sun, I still wanted to put it on the solar panel so it would charge up, right? The large one, I didn't get anything from the solar panel. It might have went up 1% in 8 hours of it being in on the solar panel. I couldn't run it with the solar panel because of the weather, because you can't get it wet. So I had to go ahead and use it and then try to recharge it with solar. Didn't work. I got 1%. That's it. So that means it would never keep up. Even if you had all this sunshine and you put it out there and you hook it up to your generator and you run your freezer, it's not going to keep up. So all these people that think that solar energy is the answer to our prayers and needs for the future, it is not. They've been around a while and they still are unreliable and they're still very expensive. In my humble opinion, it was a waste of money. Total waste of money. Now, this company has special ones that go on each of your appliances, like your fridge and your freezer. Those cost somewhere around $2,500 to $3,000 each. And you plug them into your wall and they stay charged up until your power goes out, and then they take care of your fridge or your freezer. But they're still only rated at 22 hours. So all the things that I've seen about them, well, gee, just buy 2 or 3 and then you're set. So you have to have 3 of them if your power is out for 3 days. Really? I'm sorry. The cost does not make up for the loss that you're going to have with meat. You might as well just go buy some fresh meat. I'm serious. That's how I feel about it. It's just like, you know, everybody wants, cars that don't run on gas. Well, guess what happens in a power outage? You can't charge those cars. You can't charge those batteries. You're stuck. The other thing about it is it says right in there in small print, which I hadn't seen anywhere when I was doing my research, that it has to be stored in a safe place without any flammable materials. I have carpet in most of my house. All of my closets have carpet. You also should not be keeping your batteries and everything in a garage if it gets really hot in there, which I've had to store because I don't have anywhere in the house to keep them either. I definitely would not put this in the garage because the last time that we had a really hot day, it was 110 degrees in the garage. That is freaking scary. Sorry, my phone just made a noise. That's freaking scary. So, battery operated things, generators, any kind of backup that have batteries catch fire. They do. They can catch fire while they're charging. They can catch fire just being there. So the only closet that I have available still has carpet. It's where I keep all of my uh, coats and ponchos and all that kind of stuff for seasonal stuff, extra blankets, you know. So how do I store it? Where do I put it? There's nowhere to put it. There's nowhere in the house or outside where I could store this thing in a safe place. And people say, "Oh, well, whole house generators, they're also a hazard." Yes, they are. And yes, your house could blow up if something happened to it in some other universe. But I don't think they're as bad as these solar things. I don't think so. I really don't think so. Now, a gasoline powered generator, that's a different story. I can't use one. As I've explained before, I have a very severe sensitivity to the smell of gasoline, and it makes me absolutely sick. That was the reason for me to do this. And I don't have a whole house generator. I have had natural gas whole house generators in 3 homes. 2 homes, I had them installed myself. 1 came with it. It is the way to go. We do need natural gas. I'm only speaking from my experience. I'm only speaking from my view on it. Agree to disagree, but really do your research and really talk to people about it. Just how reliable are these? The one I have, and as far as I'm concerned, I wasted my money. I did get a good deal on them. It did help me for 6 hours. And I got to charge my phone for 3 different times. But it took forever. It took forever. Even after it was fully charged, it still took forever. Not impressed at all. So I bought 2 smaller flexible solar panels that arrived yesterday. For the small generator, I thought, well, maybe that's the answer because I can't handle this great big one unless the planets align in such a way that the sun shines and all that kind of stuff, and I have a place where I can put it that doesn't get wet. I thought, well, I'll give it a try. They were reasonably priced. Couldn't even keep up. After 6 hours of being on the newer panel, it's just a single panel and it's flexible, so I can put it anywhere. So I put it on there. It never charged at all. It still went down 1% in that 6 hours. If you're camping, great. I'm sure it helps. But I wasn't camping. I'm trying to survive in my home. I wouldn't waste my money on it. I don't think it'll work. I really don't. I don't think it's going to work like they say. Because why would mine only work for 6 hours on a fairly new freezer that was completely full? So it really, was cold when I started it. And I could only charge my phone 3 times. Yeah, on the smaller one. So no, I would not waste my money on that again. I'm stuck with it. I have it. I have the panels. In my opinion, I wasted $1,000 for nothing, and I still got to pay it off. So, yeah, I'm disappointed. I'm a little PO'd about it. But hey, that's life. So I have to just make a different decision for my future. And that may still not be a good one because we don't know what these storms are going to do. They're horrible. But if you're thinking about a whole house solar setup, I highly recommend that you find people that actually have it and find out how they feel about it because they take up a lot of space. They take up a lot of space in your garage or wherever you have them. You have to have a whole power bank full, and it's multi-thousands of dollars to set a good one up that's actually going to help you. Most of us can't even afford what I have today. So I'm grateful that I was able to buy it. I'm not grateful that it didn't work out the way I wanted it to, but it's a chance you take. So this is just my honest opinion and view of the investment I made. I really think I could have gotten through the whole thing without it. I do. So there you go. All right, enough with this rant, but I had to share this with you because I feel that I could have spent my money better somewhere else. And the amount of money that it cost me, I could have filled my fridge and my freezer and not spent the money and not have to store something that could typically explode, catch fire, that I have nowhere to keep except out in the middle of the floor. And then, it's up for grabs whether it's going to blow up or not. I'm sorry. I'm just not on board with it. So, anyway, thanks for watching and listening. If you have one, share your thoughts and feelings. Maybe I am missing something. I don't know, but I've read it all. I've looked at it all, and believe me, my experience was not anything like what it's advertised to do. So there you go. Have a wonderful day. Be safe out there and be kind.